Me, along with Divakar, have been trying to create this user group in Kathmandu for quite some long time, and we applied for the user group in the official Power Apps community of the Microsoft, which they approved. And since then, we've been planning to do a community meetup for quite some long. And in case of community like it's in Nepal, the community is not as big. We have very few people who are working on Power Platform. As I reckon, I think there are only three companies in Kathmandu that are currently working in Power Platform. So the our objective is to bring all those people together so that we can connect with each other. Along with that, I think we have a huge community in. I think rather than saying huge, there is a growing community in our neighboring country, India, as well as other South Asian region. So what we want to do is we want to bring all these people together, share their expertise, share their knowledge, and uh, develop this community of Power Platform. So in today's meetup, we are having a speaker who will speak regarding the Power Platform. If you want to stay updated about our community and everything, this is the URL. I will put this in the comment as well. You can join this Power Platform, this group through this URL. We have a Facebook group as well, which of which URL I will put as well. This is the first meetup that we are doing, so we are really excited about it. Right now, for this first ever meetup, our speaker is uh, Srinath Pega, and he is he. Sorry for that. Um, So our first speaker, the speaker for our first ever meetup is Srinath Pega, and he is a Microsoft Dynamics CRM technical consultant who's been working on Dynamics platform for 6 years, I think, and I think 5 years in Dynamics CRM platform. He has very intensive experience creating business rules, plugins, workflows, and many creative aspect of Dynamics 365. Today, he will be talking about the application lifecycle of Power Platform using Azure DevOps. So we are really excited because I think from our team as well, I think there are lots of questions regarding Azure DevOps and how we can use it for Power Platform. Especially, I think we are also using in one of our project. So probably our team will be learning lots of things, including in the knowledge that they are already have. So really excited to have you, Srinath. And yeah, over to you, Srinath.
Thank you so much. It's a great introduction, and yeah, thank you for that. And let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My name is Srinath Pega. I'm working, 6 years, 5 years into Dynamic 360 Man Power Platform, and 1 year into initially I was into .NET. Past 2 years, I'm working on Azure Dev Apps, creating the pipelines for automation deployment for Dynamic 365 and Power Platform. And myself, I'm working as a technical consultant as well as a certified Microsoft trainer. And yeah, this is my social links where you guys can, reach out to me any issues of anything DevOps related. So I'm more than happy to help. And best way to reach out to me, like I'm on my blog. That's the best location to reach out to me anywhere in the social networks. And today we are going to talk about the Azure Dev Apps, how Azure Dev Apps is going to be help us to implement the lifecycle management for Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. So these are the links to get the updates from the Microsoft for Azure Dev Apps. This is the website for Dev Apps, and we can have you know uh, better handle. most of the things Master will post very frequent on a weekly basis. How the things are getting updated. Just get into the Twitter handle to get updated news. And today we are going to discuss about the Azure Dev Apps introduction, and we are going to talk about pipelines. For the pipeline, Microsoft has Power Platform build tools. We are going to talk about that, and we have service connections. How we are going to connect the Azure Dev Apps to Dynamic 365 Power Platform. How we can communicate two application each other to move the solution from each one environment to another environment. And also we are going to see how to export the solution from dev environment and unpack the solution and commit into repository for future reference. If anything goes wrong, we can get the solutions from repository as a source control. And we are going to create a build and release pipeline to export and import the solution from one environment to other environment as CI/CD automation. So those things we are going to see it. And in the last, we can have Q&A. So what is Azure DevOps? Azure DevOps is a software as a platform. It's a cloud-hosted a repository where we can host our repositories in the cloud. It's a very easy to manage. No any extra cost to maintain the our repositories, and it's it will avoid so many human errors if somebody exporting and importing solutions from one environment to another environment. A lot creates a lot of confusions. Some of missing components in the solution, they modify the things. If you import the solution after anything changes, so it will may chance to break the solutions. So those kind of things we can avoid using the pipelines from Azure DevOps. And to develop the pipelines in the Azure DevOps, Microsoft released for platform build tools. Initially, Microsoft released a name called Powerapps build tools in late 2029. Later, it got upgraded to Power Platform build tools in early 2020. Now it has 12 build tasks. It's free tool, and it's tasks are adding keep on adding by the Microsoft. And we are going to create build pipelines for exporting a solution and as a unmanaged and unpack the solution whatever we are exporting from the dev environment and commit into the repository for the source control. Then whatever the committed solution we need to pack and import back into the build environment. Then it will be ready as to export from the build environment. Then we are going to export the solution both managed and unmanaged and keep and published into the artifacts to import back into the down the line environment as UAT and test and production environment. There is a chances if something goes wrong, we can roll back changes to previous solution. We can import the previous version of the solution to get the previous solution back. So those kind of facilities we have in the pipelines. So that's the reason why it will avoid so many human errors. We can we cannot roll back with the manual stuff. So that's help us with the Azure pipelines. And this is the build and release pipelines is going to looks like. So let's get into the demo. So I have this Azure Dev Apps portal. Here we have 3 projects. So to create a new project, let's create a new project. It will ask the project name and the description. And basically the projects are private. As per the Microsoft standard, we should go with the private. If we make the public, repositories may not work. If we something want to commit into the repository, it won't commit. So that's the reason why, as per the Microsoft standard, we should go with the private. And most of the projects are running on a Scrum, so we need to select the Scrum to set up the right setup for the boards as well. So click on create. In the background, it will create the project, as well as uh, every project will have a repository with the same name of project name. Let's click on a repository. The UG is repository name, but this repository has nothing. So that's the reason why it's showing as empty. To initialize this repository, we have these many options. If you want to computer, then push back to the repository, then the repository will be get created. And if any command line, it will be created. And if we have any repository, then import here. Then also it will be create the repository here. And here we have initialize. Here itself, it will be repository will be created. Let's initialize the repository for this project. Now this repository got created for this project. Now we can create the pipelines under this. Now this project doesn't have pipeline, just because just now we created. To create the pipelines, just click on the pipeline, create pipeline. So now we can create the pipelines. Before that, we need to install our Power Platform build tools. For that, we need to install the Power Platform build tools into the organization. So now I'm on a organization. This is my organization. Click on organization settings. Go to extensions. It's already installed into the my organization, but if it's trying first time, it won't able to see anything here. To install this Power Platform build tool into the Azure Dev Apps organization, so click on browse marketplace. Search for Power Platform. So it will come as like this. Open the build tools. This is the tool provided by the Microsoft to create the pipelines for the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. To install this tool into our organization, just get it free. It will actually I logged in. Maybe I don't think it will ask the login. Yes. So it's selected as these many organizations into my portal. So I selected one of the organization. So if it is not installed, it will ask you to install. So let's install. So this build tool got installed into the organization, but my organization it's already installed. So after install, this tool will be listed here as installed extensions. Now we can able to utilize this build tool task into our pipelines. For that, go back to our organizations and open the project. There we can create our pipelines. To create our pipelines, uh, we need a service connections to communicate each Dynamics 365 and Azure Dev Apps. So we need to create service connections. So let's click on project settings. We have service connections, done service connections. So I have these many service connections into my project. To create new service connections, here we have option to create a new service connection. If we click here, it will show all list of service connections in our Azure Dev App. But we are going to have there are two options, which is for platform service connection. Other one is generic service connection. If we go with the generic service connection, it will ask you the server URL, which environment URL, which environment we are going to either export or import. So that's the environment URL is the server URL. Then username and password and service connection name. So username and password. As Microsoft standard, Microsoft is remote basic authentication this year. So sometime this basic connection uh, don't work. Usually, trials it's not working because everything is MFA enabled by default. So that's the reason why is generic connections are not working. So as for the Microsoft standard, we'll go with the service connection as a service principles. So let's create a service connection for this project. Let's select the platform service connection, click on next. Again, it's asking the server URL, which is the environment URL, and tenant ID, which tenant we are going to target. Anyway, we are going to have one single tenant. So tenant ID and application ID, secret ID. There is no username and password. This is more secure authentication, MFA enabled authentication, connecting to application in between the applications. So for that, we need to have create an app registration to get the application ID and secret ID. So let's create the app registration to the tenant. For that, we need to go to portal.azure.com. There we have these many Azure services. Let's go to the Active Directory. There we have app registration. So these are all my app registrations in my tenant. So to create new app registration, on the top we have new registration. Let's click on new registration, and it's asking the name of app registration. Let's give the and we have three types of API connections, which is a single tenant. When we are going to communicate within a tenant, this is the option will be suitable. And second option is when we are going to connect to other tenant. When external tenant, if you want to connect with the service connection, so this would be box, and this and the third one will be the same. Bit of personal accounts will be allowed into that. Microsoft is going to be removed next releases this option. And the fourth one is personal accounts only. So right now we are working on a single tenant. So I'm going with the first option and click on register. Now our app registration got created and we got client application ID and tenant ID. We got the both option values for this connection. Tenant ID we got, application ID we got, and we need to have secret key. So let's let's add the secret key for this app registration. So we have certification and secrets. So to create the secrets, click on new client secrets and it's asking the description. Let's keep the key and by default it's selected as a expiry 6 months. We can select any one of them as well as custom. So let it be 6 months. Now this is the secret key. Let's copy this and let's select the application ID and the client ID. Application ID, tenant ID. Now we got all the values for the service connection as well as server connection. Also, we will give the service server connection URL. Let's copy the link address. And it's asking the name. Let's keep the grant. Yeah, this is the one option. It allows to select this service connection to any pipeline. So we'll select the grant access to all the pipelines. So the moment we save it, it will be save the service connection for this project for the that environment. But we got created app registration. We got all the values with that. We can create a service connection, but we cannot connect this service connection with this environment. Why? Because we didn't gave the permission to access this app registration to this environment. For that, we need to give an access permissions to this environment with this app registration. For that, we need to give the API permissions. So click on API permissions, click on add permissions, select the dynamic CRM. Here we have two types of permissions to grant access to this app registration to that environment. So by default, it got selected as a delegated permission. So let it be like that and select the user impersonation. Let's select, we can add permissions. Now API Dynamic 365 API got assigned to this app registration, but we didn't grant any permissions to it because it's still showing admin consent is set to no, but we need to have yes. For that, we can grant admin consent for this tenant. My tenant name is Srinath, so that's the reason why it's a tenant Srinath. Actually, this is a tenant name. So grant admin consent for the tenant. Let's click on it. Yeah, it's asking the confirmation. Let's click on yes. Yes. Now we got gave the permission to the app registration to access the environments in the tenant, no matter what, in any environment in the tenant of Dynamic 365. But to access to any environment, we need to have a user in the environment. We need to have application user in the environment. Then only we will access the environment with the help of this app registration. So let's go to the environment. So this is the environment of my tenant as a dev. So click on settings to add an application user to this environment. Expand the users and permissions. And we have application users. So these are already have in my environment as application user. To create a new application user for this environment, we have new app user. Let's click on app user and click on add an app. We got created the app registration as a UG. So, and we can see the UG as app. So let's select the UG, click on add, and it's asking the business unit. So let's select that. And we need to give the role for this application user as admin. So let's select the administrator. Click on save, click on create. Now we got created application user in the environment. By this one, we got this is application user. This user is not at all any licensed user, which means there is no username or password, but still it is an admin and user in the environment. Uh, Application user act as not interactive account, which means it's a no user itself. It's a licensed user as enable user only, but it cannot be used for logging into the system with any purpose. It will be only communicate with the other application with the Dynamics 365 with the help of secret keys and application IDs. So now we added the application user into the environment, and we are having all the values into the service connection. So let's see service connection. So it got saved the service connection. We are added the application user into the environment. Now we will set everything for to create the pipelines. To create the pipelines, click on pipelines. So these many pipelines have in my project. These are the recent runs, and these are all pipelines which have in my project. So this are the pipeline didn't run yet, and these are the recent runs. To create a new pipeline, let's click on new pipeline. So these are the pipeline types. If we are going to create any pipeline to pick a code from any repositories, so these are the repositories to get the code to create the our pipeline. Now we are going with the classic editor. So let's click on use classic editor, and it's asking source to select which project, which cloud, which source we are going to select. We are using Azure Dev Apps, which is a repository Git. When we are creating a project, we select the repository as a Git. So it will be by default selected as a repository Git. And we have other type of sources, Bitbucket and any other Git, and also we can select the GitHub repository from Azure Dev Apps. So it will be connected through GitHub and Azure Dev Apps. So it'll let it be, because we are going to keep our repositories, everything into the Azure Dev Apps itself. So it got selected into Azure Get and Steam project, which project we are going to keep our pipeline. So it got selected the project, and we can select any project to create our project pipeline and repository. So as I mentioned, every project will have primary repository. It's with the same name of the project, and also we can have multiple repositories into the same project. So these are all the repositories into the one single project, but it got selected as liquid and asking the branch, uh, which branch we are going to create the pipeline. So we are, basically, it's better to create pipelines or code. First time we are pushing into the repository. Master ideally should be there. So let's select the master. I don't have any branches into that repository yet. So let's select the master itself. So to continue, just click on continue, and this is asking now templates. So these many are pipeline templates. If you select any one of them, it will give you the automatical build pipelines in the system. But we are not going to select any one of the templates from the system. Let's go with the empty job. Click on empty job. Now this is the template we are going to develop our pipeline to export or import solution from one environment to another environment with the help of Microsoft build tools. So let's give the name for this pipeline. See, now the pipeline got saved. This is how this pipeline having agent job one. This is agent job will run our all the tasks which we are going to add into this pipeline. This is an agent will be hosted in the Azure virtual machine maintained by the Microsoft. So these are the agent of information. This is a pool in the virtual machine, and the all of the information about agent job one. We can rename it to any one of the any name if we want, and we have this option allow the scripts to access both token, which means if you are going to add any scripts to this pipeline, so which makes allows access token, because we are going to have permissions as a service principal, which is going to be a client secret and application ID. So this is the option to select and concede. Now granted the scripts to access for token. Agent job is ready to add the build tool task to perform our export or import task. That we need to add the task to this agent job one. For that, click on this plus icon. Click on plus. So it shows us all the tasks in the system, whatever the extensions are installed into the organization, all the tasks will be visible here. And to add the Power Platform build tool task, this agent job one, we need to search for Power Platform. So these are all our Power Platform uh, tool task. When we are trying a first time, may not show all the things. Just keep clicking on the refresh. It will keep adding into the uh, this pipeline. So when we are doing the first time, because it's already added into my organization very long time, so all the things are uh, refreshed. So we'll create a pipeline now to export our solution key into the artifacts. So for that, we need to add our platform tool installer. So this is a task which helps all the tasks of Power Platform build tool task to installing the prerequisites scripts to this agent Java. So very initial, we need to add this tool installer to any pipeline. Then we have to add remaining build tool task to perform whatever the operations we are going to do, either export or import, whatever it may be. Now we added tool installer. Now we are going to export our solution from dev environment. So let's add export task. Let's click on add. Now we exported solution. Now we'll keep our exported solution into the artifact. For that, we need to add publish artifacts task or publish build artifacts. So this pipeline is going to export our solution and keep our exported solution into the artifacts. Now it's asking export task is asking some setting need to have an attention. Let's click on export task. And here we can see authentication type. As I mentioned, there are two types of authentications, which is username and password, which no MFA, which is basic authentication, as Microsoft removed that, and service principal. So let's select the service principal, which suppose MFA. It's going to be work with the app registration in the Azure portal, application user in the Dynamic 365, and for platform service connection in the Azure Dev Apps. These three altogether make the connection into the three application to communicate with each other. So that's a service principle, and we are going to select the we are going to export our solution from dev environment. I have this service connection, so let's select the ALM.dev. Here, uh, it's asking the solution name. So here I have solution. I have in my dev environment have solution. So let's give the solution name to that pipeline. So let's give the name, and here we are going to give the solution name as variable. So we'll give the name as variable. Now we gave the solution name as variable. but we need to pass the value to this variable. So to pass the variable to pass the value for this variable, we have on the top variable section. Let's click on the variable. We have two types of variables, which is pipeline variables and variable groups. Variable groups, it's a group of all variables contain the values which we can use any number of pipelines. And I have multiple variable groups. So let's add pipeline variables first. To add the pipeline variables, click on add, and that's asking the name, means the variable name and the value. What is the value for this variable? Our value is going to be the name of the solution. And if you want to hide this value to everybody, just log this. It will not be visible as a value. So let's go back to the task. Click on export solution task. We gave our solution name as a variable, and it's asking solution output file, which means the exported solution file where we want to keep in the Azure Dev Apps, which means the directory of the solution. So there is a directory Microsoft is defined, which is Azure Dev Apps directory to keep our exported solution. So I will keep the directory of that solution to be. So this is the directory. Microsoft is defined directory to keep our exported solution. This is the directory and followed by the solution name. The solution name is going to be placed in this directory. After that, we need to keep our solution exported solution into the artifacts. So this is the directory of artifacts, and folder name is the by default it got named as drop. We can change the folder name whatever we want. Let's change it to ALM. Let's save the pipeline. So pipeline is ready to export our solution as unmanaged, because we didn't select any uh, export as managed. So it will select the solution from dev environment as unmanaged. That exported solution is going to be kept and under ALM folder in the artifacts. To run this pipeline, click on Q. It will run the pipeline. So this is the agent server name, which branch we are going to trigger, which is the master. And we added one variable, and we need to diagnostics when we do the pipeline running. So let's enable the diagnostics. And to run this pipeline, click on run. So agent job is queued. Let's click on agent job one. Agent job, it's taking place of the parallel jobs. If any parallel job is going on same pool, it will wait for some time until the agent is get free. So it's checking out from the master. Now this tool installer is installing some of the tools to perform remaining for platform build tool tasks. all the scripts, PowerShell scripts are getting exporting from the server to so Sumit, we can take any no couple of questions if we can. Meanwhile, please feel free to ask questions in between. Now it's exporting a solution from dev as unmanaged. It's connected the URL and friendly name is dev and organization just solution got exported and published into the artifacts. The folder name is ALM. Let's yeah let it yeah let's go back to the pipeline. So we can see related section one consumed. Let's click on consumed. Okay, some sort of directory is wrong. Okay, probably my trial problem. So I will show you the full scale pipeline. So as I mentioned, we are going to have solution from the dev environment as unmanaged and commit unpack the solution, whatever they exported the dev solution, commit into the repository. Then we pack the solution, whatever we committed to the repository, then uh, export import into the build environment as unmanaged. Then we can export both unmanaged and managed and keep those solutions into the artifacts. From there itself, we are going to keep the whatever the solution for any solution, either managed or unmanaged. Down the line, we are going to import with the help of release pipelines. So this is a pipeline task going to be export the solution from dev environment as unmanaged, and the unmanaged solution is going to be unpacked So this is unpacked solution directory. So we are going to export our solution this directory. This is the solution name and this is the directory. We are going to keep the solution into this directory as solution name. Whatever the directory we exported, we are going to unpack the solution from the same directory. So this is a directory we are going to unpack uh, as solution name folder. We got unpacked into this directory, but we want to commit our unpacked solution to the repository. What wherever our pipeline got created, that repository we need to commit our unpacked solution. For that, we need to have command line script, which is git command code only. So this is the script help us to commit or unpacked solution from dev environment which we exported. So to keep our unpacked solution into the repository, so it will commit everything into the master. So I will show you how we'll commit the unpacked solution into the repository. So these many solutions are committed into my repository. So this is a solution which have in my environment at the moment. So the solution will be committed into the repositories as into the folders as component wise. Let's say app modules will have model driven apps and sitemaps. So whatever the sitemaps for those model driven apps, it will be sit over here. And tables, all the tables will going to be have each folder will have each table, and other will have all the customizations and solution.xml. If any web resources will going to have this separate folders. And yeah, this is how it will be unpacked our solution into the repository. Each component will be sit on each different folder. So this is committing the unpacked solution to the repository. Then we need to pack our committed solution. For that, it's asking source folder to pack our this unpacked solution. So wherever we got unpacked, so this is the solution we unpacked. The same solution we need to give the source to pack our solution. Then it's asking solution output file. Okay, we gave our source to pack our solution. Where we want to pack our solution. So this is the directory. We are going to pack our solution as unmanaged because we committed our solution as unmanaged only. So solution type is unmanaged. Then we got our unmanaged solution to ready to import in any environment. So let's have import task. Again, import task is asking authentication type. So we need to select the authentication type as MFA and service connection, which environment we want to import our packed solution from repository as unmanaged. So this is the build environment got added to the service connection solution input file, which file we are going to import. So the directory where we got packed, so we need to give the same directory to pick our solution file to be import into the build environment. So this is the directory where we packed. Now we need to publish our changes whatever solution got imported into the build environment. So we need to publish to better apply our changes. So again, it's asking service connection, which means which environment we want to publish. Okay, we imported our solution to the build environment. So we need to publish. So which environment we need to publish? So that's the environment we need to give the service connection. So this task will get connected to the build environment and then publish the solutions, means publish all the solution, which means all the solutions which we have in this environment, it will be published. Not only the one particular solution, it will publish all the publishing. Let's This is going to be publish all customization, not particular one solution we are going to publish. Only not only that solution, it will publish entire environment. So it's going to be do that. Next, we got packed solution from the repository. We imported into the build environment as unmanaged. Now we are going to export the same solution from build environment as unmanaged and managed. So it got added to export task, and I just renamed here to identify the which task is doing what. So I just added unmanaged export task. So it's asking this service connection, means which environment we are going to export our solution. So let's select the build because we imported our solution into the build environment wherever whatever the solution we got packed from the repository. So let's select it as build, and again it's asking the solution name, which solution we are going to export. So we need to identify the solution from that environment. We can have multiple solutions, so we need to pass the variable to that environment to put that particular solution to be exported. So we given as a variable to the solution name. So we can have value to this solution name in the variable section. So it will going to be the big right solution to this particular environment, which we are going to hit to export our solution. So after export our solution, we want to keep. So this is a directory. We are going to keep our exported solution. It will be keep our managed solution and same as export task. Everything will be same, but we are going to have the solution name as solution name underscore managed. Zip. Uh, Rest of the things will be the same, and we need to export our solution as managed. Anyways, export solution always be as asynchronous to avoid any failure of pipeline, because if the solution size is bigger, it will be fail within a 5 minutes. So if we go with the asynchronous, it will wait to until export the solution to avoid this failure of the pipeline execution, to better to export our solutions as asynchronous. And as I mentioned, these two exported solutions we need to keep into the artifacts. By that one, we are going to get those artifacts which help us to import into down the line environment, any environments like UIG, dash, production. So these artifacts will going to be help us to import into the those environment with that of release pipelines. So again, it has the path where we want to publish these exported artifacts. Again, by default name would be the drop. So if you want to change it, change it. Otherwise, let it be like that. So to run this pipeline again, the queue option. So the moment when we click, it will run the pipeline. All these jobs will be executed, and it will be uh, keep our both the solutions into the artifacts. But we are doing it in a manual. If you want to automate this pipeline, we have triggers option. Anytime we can, if you want to schedule or build pipeline to export our solutions, there is an option for schedule. Whenever we want to like, run this pipeline, we can have this automation. So let's say Monday, I'm going to run this pipeline. Let's say Monday. So ensure time, minutes, whatever the time zone. So it will be export. It will be run the pipeline 12 Monday 12 hour. So it will be start execute the pipeline without any intervention of anybody. It will be going to be start executing or automatically. The time comes and every week. And other option is of build completion. So this is a build pipeline. Uh, when we want to prepare this, any one of the build pipeline task is completed. So let's say we have other pipeline. When we run that pipeline, if that pipeline got executed successfully, let's trigger this pipeline automatically. So those kind of option it is. So let's leave it like that. If we run this pipeline, as I mentioned, this pipeline will going to keep our exported solutions into the ALM folder. Let's go back to this pipeline. So here we can see that one published, one consumed. So let's click on one pub. So as I mentioned, it got renamed from draft to ALM of publish artifact task. Let's expand ALM folder. So it has two solutions. First one is the unmanaged, and second one is a managed, and another one is a consumed. So which this is the repository where we got created this pipeline. So this is a repository got consumed to this pipeline and published these artifacts. Now our pipeline is exported our solution from exported the solution from there as unmanaged, then unpacked the solution and committed into the repository. Then it packed the solution and imported it to build environment as unmanaged. Then both both exported task is exported as managed and unmanaged. Published artifacts or published these two managed and unmanaged solution into the artifacts to import this both unmanaged and managed solutions into the other environments like UIT, test, and production. For that, we need to have release pipelines. So click on release. So this is the screen we are going to have release pipelines to be created. So these are all my release pipelines. To create a new release pipelines, we have new options. Let's click on here. It's showing up two options to create a release pipeline. First one is create a new release pipeline, and other one is import release pipeline. So let's click on new release pipeline. It's asking to be select the template. We are not going to select any template. Click on empty job. It's asking the stage name. Let's say if we are going to import a solution to you whatever UIT or test anything, we can give the name. So it will change the name as UIT. Let's click on cancel. Now we got added one stage to the release pipeline, but still it's asking the artifacts. Artifacts means we kept our solutions, where our exported solutions both unmanaged and managed. We need to give the those artifacts to this release pipeline to be imported into the other environment with the help of release pipeline. So to add the artifacts, let's click on add artifacts. Source is selected as build pipeline and selected as project. Which project that build pipeline got created, and it got selected this project because we are working on the C project. So by default, it got selected the C project and choose build. So let's select the build pipeline. That pipeline has artifacts and it has the default version. So which artifacts we are going to pick? All the time we are going to select the latest only. That's the reason why it got selected as the latest. If you want to roll back our previous changes, we can go and select any specific release time, and so that it will be selected. So we are going with the latest and source alias. This is the name we are going to uh, attach the artifacts to the pipeline. So let's leave it like ALM. Otherwise, we can leave it like that. Click on add. Now, artifacts got added to the release pipeline. Let's keep the name for this pipeline. Save. Now we need to add the task to the stage. Since we have artifacts, we need to import our artifacts into the UIT environment. For that, we need to have a release pipeline to import our exported into the UIT. That click on one job, which is agent job. Again, we need to pass our scripts to access both token. For that, click on agent job, scroll down and select the allow the scripts to access both token, which help us to allow the scripts to access both token because we are using service principal, not with the basic authentication. Click on see, click on OK. Now we allow the scripts to access both that. Then we need to add the task to import our solution to the UIT environment. That click on plus icon for this agent job. These all are tasks to the projects. So let's search for a platform. So again, we are going to add the task to uh, import our solution to the UIT environment. First and foremost thing, any pipeline, we have must and should we need to add Power Platform tool installer. This is the task which is going to help us to install the scripts which we are going to help to export or import tasks. to the pipeline. So later we can add anything, either export or import or environment copy or delete, whatever the task we are going to perform. This is the task which helps to install the scripts to particular task having to the either release or build pipeline. Now we are going to have import solution task. After import, we need to publish the environment. So we need to add publish customization task. Again, it's asking import task some of tensions. Again, service connection, solution input file where we are going to keep our exported solution task. So have release pipelines. So for demo purpose. So I think we are running a lot of time. Let's see the pipeline. So this is the build pipeline, which already added to this release pipeline. I have two stages, UAT and dot. So this UAT stage has importing the solution to the UAT environment, getting the solution from artifacts, where this solution. This is a directory of artifacts where we exported our solution and kept into the artifacts. Otherwise, we can get the directory from here as well. So let's click on this ellipse. It will keep the pop-up link artifacts. This is the build pipeline. Let's expand the build folder because this is a build which is alias name where we give the build artifacts alias name. This is the name of alias of that particular build artifacts. And build artifacts, we renamed the draft folder to ALM. So let's expand the ALM. So this is the solutions we got have in this ALM folder. We can any one of them we can pick it out. So this is the directory which we are going to get the solution to be imported into the UIT environment. So publish our customizations, which environment we are going to publish. Since we are UIT, so let's select UIT. So this is release pipeline, and let's go back to the pipeline. We can have n number of stages. If we have down the line any number of environments, we can have n number of stages to be import our solution, either managed or unmanaged. Since we have both the solutions in a artifacts, both unmanaged and unmanaged, we can import any number of any environment and any stage. To add multiple stages here, click add new stage, or else okay. So this stage it will be added like this. Otherwise, let's select this. Click on clone. It will be just copy the things. I don't want to be copied. So this is the release pipeline, and we can see here on the top. Now, previously I showed build pipeline. We are going to trigger manually by clicking the queue. That's okay. But after clicking that queue, the build pipeline is ready and it got executed and exported our solutions from dev environment. It got unpacked, then committed into repository, then pack our solution, import it to the build environment. Then it exported the both unmanaged and managed solutions and kept it to the artifacts. Pipeline got executed successfully and build artifacts are ready. Then we want to import our solution uh, into the particular environment automatically. We don't want to again come back and start a release pipeline. So for that, we have this power icon. Uh, let's click on continuous deployment trigger. So that the moment when that continuous deployment is ready, pipeline got executed, build artifacts are ready. We want to trigger our release pipeline. So if we enable this continuous deployment trigger, it enable us to run this pipeline automatically when new build artifacts are ready. So that build artifacts, this build artifacts when new build is ready. So this release pipeline will going to be start executing without any manual interventions. And close this. And if you want to any approvals to import our solution into down the line environments, we have the deployment conditions as up, approvals. Uh, so there is an deployment approvals. It could enable, so we can have any groups or any individuals we can have add here. The moment the people who are added here are the approvers, then only it start executing, means the pipeline is going to be start importing the solution to the environment. So this is going to be have approvals. So we can have something like a review process to import the solution into the environment with the approvals. After that, after also we want to keep our approvals process down the line. We want to make another approvals like post approval as well. After solution got imported and it got published, the changes, everything is ready. Uh, it will go and execute other stage, but I don't want to be like that. In between, I want to each environment, I want to be another approval process. So we have other post deployment conditions. So here as well, approval or reject stage. If anybody who are added into this approval groups, so they can able to either approve or reject anything we can add here. It will when the moment when it will be approved, start executing the pipeline. Things will be ready and it will stop the things here until it will approve. The moment it will approve, the stage will be completed, then it will move forward. Until this environment won't reflect the changes. The moment it will be approved, then only this changes will be reflected in the particular environment. Then pipeline start executing the next stage. So this is how approvals and rejections of changes to be moved from one environment to another environment uh, help solve these approvals and rejected things. So this is how we built our CI/CD pipelines for Dynamics 365 Power Platform. This will be going to be the seamless once you run the build pipeline. The moment it will be ready of new build artifacts, it will start executing the release pipeline to be imported into the environment based on their organization structure of approvals. Uh, that's how it will be imported into the down the line environment, either of managed or unmanaged solutions to be installed uh, with the getting from the build artifacts. So that's all from my end. Feel free to ask any questions if we can have.
Yeah, Srinath, one question. So, like in real life, we have different scenarios. Like we create a patch and then move solutions, import solutions. So what would be the strategy for that? So, if you have different patches,
See, so first of all, um, you are creating a patch, and I will tell you what will happen with the patch. So you are creating a patch in a dev environment as and you're exporting and importing into the one environment, and you're cloning it, right?
yes,
Then you're it's cloning and you're exporting and importing into the environment with a manual or pipeline. So we can
uh,
do that. We can do that in a pipeline as well. But there is an issue with that. So we can implement that scenario with a uh, with a pipeline. But we can do with a YAML script to get that particular patch with the unique code. Team exported the patch and import into the environment and clone the solution. But what exactly will happen? So the moment when we clone the solution, it will increase the version. And next step, it will going to be export the solution with a new version, and again, must and we should, even if you write a build pipeline with a YAML, we must and you should have the release pipeline. Release pipeline all the time it's the same. We need to have build artifacts. It's going to be picked out, and release pipeline all the time is same. But yeah, challenge is that the moment when you clone the solution, it will be increase the version, and lower version, lower environment, which is the environments we are going to trigger with the release pipeline, which is a lower version. But you have exported the solution as there is no issue with unmanaged. It's okay to have lower versions, but you exported the same solution, which is a higher version as a managed, and you're reporting to the solution to the down the line with a uh, higher version solution, and lower version solution already exist in the uh, targeted environment of release pipelines. What it does, it will simply update the version. So what will happen when managed solutions always will be have one single uh, layer, which is the version number. Then each component in the solution will have different solutions. So this higher version solution is going to sit on top of lower version managed solution layer. It will keep on go and sit on top of the solutions. The moment sometime you don't even see some sort of changes going to reflect proper manner. To avoid this time, this solution changes not moving or these things, you need to upgrade the solution. So what it does, uh, you need to export our solution as clone solution, means high version solution. You need to import into the environment which is already have the lower one. If you upgrade the solution, what it does, the lower version of the solution will get deleted, which means it will be deleted by the system. Of course, if we delete the managed solution, data will be get rid of, but system will automatically will be deleted in the background, and higher version solution is going to be sit on the environment. By doing this, all this layering and segmentations, all these issues will be get rid of. But pipeline, what it does with the patches, it will top of sit on top of the solution, which creates layering is issues, versioning issues, and segmentation issues. Sometimes it will going to lead environment breakage. And then I will share after this session. Uh, the marks are very strong warning to do not use the patches. Uh,
Mhm.
so I will show you after this session.
Okay.
Yes, we can have, but we can avoid the issues by doing the upgrades. But all the time upgrades, which sometime let's say when we are all the time we are doing an upgrade, sometime we are doing it. Some technical issues, the solution got deleted, and whatever we are trying to import the solution, it's not imported. So imagine if something happened with the production environment, all the data will be get
Mhm.
so that's some sort of risky job. And also
Yeah.
Mhm.
all the time upgrades also not to be recommended. It's okay, sometime in a while.
Okay.
Srinath, so you mean like when multiple developers are working in a single solution, it's not a good practice to use patches. Instead, we just use the main solution and do changes over there.
Yes, my main solution, we can do that. When a patches is something you get confusion to the, not confusion, but it will be damage the health of the solution by mean of this solution layering and
Hmm.
segmentation.
Yeah,
You can do that. You can do that, but you need to manner in which you need to manage very well. You
yeah,
should
yeah.
not get
That's
in.
the
You should not get
that's
into this versioning, and you should keep maintain the same version. There is no
uh
issue.
yeah. That's the struggle we have. Like, is it the right thing or not? That's the question we always feel
So
challenges.
I
Yeah,
would
if we can
suggest.
share the documentation, it would be easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Microsoft is saying that there is a strong warning actually. Do not use patches.
Okay.
Yes, we can use, but you need to manage in a well manner. I would suggest like,
Okay.
okay, go with the map, go and create the patches, and multiple people are doing one work. But you need to schedule when you are going to release all these things. Okay, import our all patches into the target environment, either build or a master environment. So you clone it. The same time,
Mhm.
clone it and make the version same as like target solution versions, so that
Mhm.
you don't have to upgrade and you don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
Same version, it never get into the versioning issues, segmentation issues, and layering issues. Your solution will be clean and very healthy.
Okay.
And your dev also just clone it and make the solution same version back. All the versions, set it everything in a one page, so nothing will be cause an issue with anything.
Okay.
You need
Okay.
to
Yeah.
manage that's a hectic job, but we should not play around with the with these versions, because in my last project I see that this having the same you frequently feel like changes won't move properly. So
Mhm.
that's I see it.
Okay. Srinath, one more question. Like, does this handle the dependency error? Like, how it shows the errors if we have any?
In a pipeline.
Yeah.
So if anything a dependency issues, uh, it will send us the email for the uh, group added to the pipelines. So it will send an emails. to
Mhm.
that particular if pipeline is get filled, whatever the
like
reason. Uh,
when we export and import to other environment, if we have any dependency issues, so it shows there, right, when we import to that
yes, yes.
environment.
I will show you the message here itself.
Okay, so it will show in this job, and again we have to go manually and correct that error in the
Right.
solution. Okay.
Right. Anyway, that's the development part again, though. So it
Yeah.
will go pipeline would understand which components needs to be added, because there's a lot of things comes into the picture to add the components into the solution, like whether you want to add the metadata or add related component. So many things comes into the picture again. So
Mhm.
again, those things we need to figure out manually, the
Yeah.
development part itself. So
Okay.
these things we can say get it here, as well as we'll get a mail to the who are the group assigned to this project. So everybody is going to get the mail. So this will having this issue. Uh, this kind of things will um, by the Azure Dev Apps.
So does anyone else have any questions? So I guess we're good. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, Srinath. I think it was really helpful. We had really good chance to deep dive into all the processes of Azure DevOps, and definitely your suggestions regarding the patches would help, because that's something we are actually struggling at right at the moment. So thank you so much, Srinath, and thank you so much everyone who have joined our first meetup. We'll hopefully be doing this in the monthly basis, so we'll have something interesting related to Power Platform each month. Thank you so much, Srinath, and thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Sumit. It's a very exciting for me as well. First first a speaker for this UG, and thank you so much for having me in the session. And thank you everyone. Thank you take your time and joining this session. It's a Friday evening, so thank you so much. Enjoy the weekend.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.